I live. I'm the only black person in that area.
Oh, really?
I'm the only black person, and I'm treated well.
That's good.
I'm treated. I'm treated well. If in the summer, for instance, when the leaves fall, if I'm in trouble blowing the leaves, MRKT, who is a former state trooper now on contract, will come and help me.
That's nice.
Yes, that's that. The other time I grew tomatoes in the backyard, and I was taking my wife to the airport. He was going to Ghana. By the time I came here, MRKT had put stakes all over for me.
That's good.
One guy who has left, he's in the Bahamas, he was a preacher. If he's cutting the yard, the area, the space between me, my house, and his house, he will weed everything for me. And if I'm doing it, I also do the same thing.
That's nice.
Yes, I also do the same thing. The space between me and MRKT, for instance, that's one building space. When I'm cutting, I almost finish cutting the whole thing for him. That's what I've been doing. So, please go. If whenever you are free, you can come by there. I live in 310 Allenwood. Come by there and then socialize with us. I live there with my wife and my two little girls. They are twin girls, and my nephew who is taking a class here. We are planning to finish the basement, put 2 bedrooms there, so that right now it's difficult. The kids, they have to get their own rooms.
Driving you crazy.
Let us pick up this chapter 10, and it is on presentation. You begin the presentation, presenting the product to the prospect or the prospects. This is also an important step as a salesperson. Right. Now, the golden rule, you see, begins, as you see it there, begin the presentation with an end in mind, you see. And first of all, seek to understand the prospect and for you to be understood by the prospect. So both the prospect or prospects, you have to understand. What do you understand them? Maybe their style, their needs. And for you also to be understood by the prospects. You see, that is the golden rule. And 3, knowing you can help solve problems provides this great caring. We have talked about this, that if the salesperson is professional, do you see, and not a traditional salesperson, now this bad what he cares. Why? Because he's helping to improve your life. Yesterday, I went to Blacksburg. I'm having maintenance in my teeth, and the hygienist is so nice. So Dr. Buyas came, said, I said, he said, oh, you are doing well. You know, I had gum problems. And he's trying to, he said, what? I said, let me tell you something. He said, what? I said, this. Every salesperson, we have 3 of them. Dr. Buyers was quiet. He knows how to treat gum diseases, but he doesn't know what marketing is about.
Right.
Yes. So I told him, salespeople, persons help to improve the lives of other people. He said, no matter what you do, you are taking money from the customer, but you are improving the life of that person because the product or the service that the person is going to use is going to improve that person's life, the needs of that person. There is one part of salespersons, the people who push simply because they want to make sales, they want to make their money. And the one who cares to improve the life of the one who is buying the product or the service. Your hygienist is a professional. Why? Because he cares about the patients who come here. He looked at me. He said, well, I said, she has been very, very helpful because when I came and you extracted I was bleeding. And she has continuously given me the encouragement. You can do it, you can do it. Dr. Buyers stood there and then looked at me. He said, you have also played a part. I said, no, she has instructed me. She has helped me to improve my gum disease. And if I can impact on you, I was going to suggest that you find a way to give her a raise because she cares about patients. She knows what she does. He is not here to help you to do things, the work that is not good. He's helping to improve the lives of this. Dr. Weir said, now what of if I fire her? I said, how can you fire a nice working, a caring employee like this woman? You can't do that. If you do that, I am not coming here again, and other customers might not come here again. We were 3 in the room, and Dr. Buyers started laughing. Yes. So as you go out, Mr. Crow, you see the little things that you are picking in the classroom here. Use these things when you go out. Use them. You see, one on caring. You see, confidence. If you are doing the presentation, you have to have confidence. You cannot stand in front of the prospect and begin shaking, jittering. See, you have to be happy about the work you do. Do you see? Now, if you are excited, you see that you are torn. The speech that comes out is good. You see, you have to. And then do not give in to the temptation. If you are doing the presentation, do not, the proposition, don't set it too high. Do you see, oh, these eyeglasses, when you wear it, you can see 2 miles away. This, you see, which might not be true. It means that you are exaggerating. Now, later, if the prospect or the buyer finds out that it's not, you see that is not good for the company. It's not good for you as a salesperson. So do not overstate the quality or qualities of the product or services that you offer. You will see trust. You see, if you are confident, if you display a lot of excitement, and then you care, you see that the prospect will do that, will trust you. You see, will trust you today. That is short term and in the long term. So, you see, we have this Tiger Woods. You see, what is the approach? Approach here means the first time that you are meeting the prospect for the first time to what? To present the product to the prospect. That is the approach. Do you see? Now, you see a golf shot from the fairway towards the green. Steps a bowler takes before delivering the bowling ball. I don't know why the one who developed or designed the PowerPoint brought in this. Now, golf shot from the fairway towards the green. Fairway, you know what it means by fairway. When they are playing, you are going to go to the hole. Do you see? You are getting to the hole. So if you hit the ball and it doesn't go into the bush or something like that, and it's thrown toward that, that is this is the fairway. And I think this is leading us to understand that we have to, if we are going to do presentation, we have to stay straight in the fairway. We cannot get it wrong. If we hit the ball and the ball stays in the whole way. So for the salesperson, as I have already, what is the approach? That is the time from when the salesperson first sees the buyer to the beginning of the discussions of the product. That is the first time of meeting the buyer to do the presentation. That is the approach, you see. The approach, meeting for the first time, could last seconds or minutes. And what? What does it involve? It involves meeting the prospect, exchanging greetings. You have to be polite, courteous, and then begin discussion, build rapport. You see, you have to have the communication skills. Now, if you do this, you greet nicely, you greet the prospect nicely, and you begin talking. You introduce yourself. You see, you are establishing good relationship. You are setting the stage for the customer or the buyer to listen to you. So important. So, the first step in the sales presentation, the third step in the sales, the approach is the first step in the sales presentation. The third step is the selling process. But this, you see that this is wrong. Do you see? I don't know. Do You see, the sales presentation method determines how you open your presentation. The approach, so select your presentation method and then your approach, how you are going to meet the prospect for the first time in order to do the presentation. The description of the product or service, the features, the benefits of the product to the customer. So first approach, presentation. Do you see? This is caution. Take the approach very seriously, because if you misstep, that's a problem. You see? Everybody feels that this is the most important, step in helping someone. Very, very important. If you are not successful, you will never have opportunity to move into the presentation. If you misstep, if the little mistake you make, finish. Because if you are coming to do presentation to me, and I see that even your appearance is not good, you ebb down my interest. The product might be good. You ebb down my interest, and I'm not going to listen to the presentation. Chances are that I will even leave and will not even give you the opportunity to do the presentation. You see? Because if you cannot tell your story, how you will make the sales? The approach is very important. Your first meeting. Very, very, very important. You see? The sales presentation is when you begin to do what? To discuss the product itself. We're going to talk about the features, the characteristics, the nature of the product, the benefits that come if the customer agrees, if you are able to persuade the customer to buy the product. Talk. Listen. And you try as much as possible to differentiate your product from the competition. In your presentation, make it unique. Make it unique. You see? Make it unique so as to influence, persuade the customer to buy. Now, let's summarize this. The first approach. You meet, you greet, you build rapport as we saw. See? Then you go through the approach. We're going to discuss the product. First, the approach very, very important. Discuss the marketing plan. The marketing plan here, we are going to talk about the delivery of the product. When is it that the product is going to be delivered? By what means? We're going to discuss all this. Do you see? And then the proposition. What is it that the product is intended to do for the customer? Do you see? And then you close the deal. As for the order, here we're going to talk quantity, price and all kind of things. You are closing the deal. But remember that it is not a smooth sailing because there may be some objections. there may be questions from the buyer. And therefore, you have to be prepared to meet this. Now, asking questions does not necessarily mean that you are not going to make the business. The buyer is asking for some clarifications. And you have to do it. You will miss it if you don't know the product. Do you see? So, opening the approach, a buyer's reaction to the salesperson in the early minutes of the presentation are so critical. That's why I said that. And you see that even your personal appearance, the way that you are dressed up, all this come into play. If you are haphazardly dressed, you see, it doesn't talk well. So, your attitude during the approach is that it is common for all salespersons to experience this tension, especially if you have never or if you have not done any presentation before. You see tension builds in you. And it's not only you. It's almost every salesperson, every person. Now, if you might even have the knowledge, you might know the product, everything, but you see that if you are going to be in front of business top executives, do you see? You think you see that you begin to shake. Say, how am I going to do this? How am I going to be successful? And it happens to everybody. Tension builds in you. Do you see? So, what do you have to do here? You have to relax. Try as much as possible to control yourself. Don't get too much frightened. I know it's not easy, but try. Because the prospects, assuming that you have top business people representing the company, you see, these are experienced people. You'll be nervous. Do you see? So the first impression that you make is so critical. The first impression you make is so critical. I've said this. Your appearance.
Thank you.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Your appearance. And I think we skipped this. We skipped this. If we can go back, if I can remember the chapter, the page. If you would turn to page 137 to 139, the importance of dressing. Yeah. Turn to page 157. tend to find it. Dress for success, you see, and to impress for business professional and business casual occasional. So I want you to take note of this, page 157, 158 to 159 to 160. It is very, very, very important. Over here, as you say, some students get up in their sleepwear and come to class. You have been meeting them. They just get up in their sleepwear and they come to class. At South Carolina State, where I taught as an adjunct professor, they had a program that they called it professional development. On Wednesdays, every student in the School of Business, you are dressed up. Charcoal gray suit, blue suit, right? And they invite professionals to come and talk to the students. What to do, the do's and don'ts. You see, how to attend interviews and the rest. They teach. Now, if you don't attend, you see that you are losing some score. You have to be there. You see, and at Albany State University, where I was, it's the same thing. You cannot dress, ladies cannot dress and show their body. Do you see? You have to have nice looking slacks and a shirt and a tie to match before you come to class. If you come haphazardly, I'm going to give you tardies. You see? So please, I want you to look at all those. How to appear professional. And you see that as a professional, if you dress, you see, these shoes, it looks as if it's burgundy or something like that. It matches with everything, black or burgundy. And then you see that if it is there, then it has to match with a belt. If you have the case that you might pull out your wallet, the color of the wallet should match this and match the shoes and your handkerchief. You have to blend them well. Try that. Ro, can you do that?
Yes, sir. I have a few suits at the house. I like to dress up. Like whenever I'm able to.
Yeah.
I like to think that I clean up nicely.
This semester I have not been peaceful, and I have not been coming to class dressed up. No, I have not. In the school that I have taught, you see, I have left a name there. They called me GQ. That is my name, my popular name, Gentleman of Quality. You see, I am very, very, very careful. You know, when I came here, And I realized that the way that my peers were dressing, I wanted to get into that mold. But my wife said, no, you can't do that. Be you, Albert Bacon. That's what you are noted for. And you see that here, even though some students are so naughty, standing in front of them, very, very important. You have to appear decent so as to draw the attention of the students. Yes, very, very important. So, your first appearance, your first impression is projected by your appearance. Stay clean. Cut off. At first, my friend, a lady from black lady, he wanted me to leave this and trim it, but I have decided to let it go completely. You see.
I got a question about, like, say you're going to interview or something. Is it okay to have a beard trimmed up, or should you just cut it all together?
If you are going for an interview?
Yeah. Should you cut it all together, or is it okay trim? I've always wondered about that.
If you are going for an interview, you have to appear decent. Because the group that is interviewing you, they might not be dressed up. But, do you see, they want to make sure that you fit into their chemistry. Mm-hmm. Do you see? One, if you are invited for the interview, first of all, you have to learn, get the history about the company that you are going to get the interview. This, get this. Two, you have to clean your distance and watch for your clothes. Please do that. If you have charcoal gray suit, make sure you have burgundy or black. You see, everything on you will have to be, you have to blend everything. As soon as they see you, as soon as the members see you, you see that they will be taking notes about you. You see, the time that I had an interview here, I had an interview in Massachusetts, Westfield University, a big university than this place. You see, as soon as I walked in there, I realized that the dean was. I went to the provost, saw me, and you see, I got a job there. And here, when I went to see the provost, Dr. Smith from Townsville, you see, as soon as I left and I go to Atlanta, he called me. He said, Albert. I said, sir. He said, no, don't say sir, you are my friend. Do you know why? When you come here, don't listen. I liked your appearance. You see, and the search committee chair. He said the search committee chair came and then said a whole lot of things about me. So he wants me to come here and work for him. It was Dr. Smith, and who actually influenced me to come here. I was going to make bigger money. Over here, I'm not well paid. You see. But I got there at winter time. And it was when I saw the heaps of snow there, I said, no, I'm gone. Not knowing that it is even worse here. So all the time, Please, all the time, when you are attending an interview, you have to watch your appearance here, your attitude. Don't go there and behave as if you know. Put up, be submissive. 3, you only have one chance to make what a favorable impression. Don't lose it. Don't lose. You see, for me, I watch this guy, Family Feud, Steve Harvey. You know, Steve Harvey was born here in that hole.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. He was born. And I have been tracking him down. I've been asking if he has been coming there. His relatives are still here. You see, I get on there not because of the program itself, but I look at his setup all the time. You see, so one chance. If you lose it, it's opportunity lost. It's not going to be again. These are the classifications, the categories. Your presentation, open with a statement, open with a demonstration, and opening with a question or questions. Now here you are going to make a statement. What statement do you think you can make here? This here, demonstration. What demonstration? You see that, hey, you have the product. You see, you demonstrate. And then you can, this should be an exhibit. You can hand it over to the prospect. You see, you are doing this to gain attention. Or ask questions. Now, the questions give and take. You see, you are preparing the prospect's mind towards the presentation. Ask questions and interact, have some discussions with the prospect. And don't forget the exhibit. Do you see? Now, you remember we went through this, chapter 9, the method of doing the presentation, the approaches, the techniques. 1, memorize, formula, method. You see that persuasive selling, and then need satisfaction and problem solving. Now you look at this. You see, we have this 3. So if you elect to use memorized, you see that opening, making a statement, or demonstration, or questions work best. And if it's persuasive, same time. Do you see? But if it is need satisfaction, what happens? You are going to ask the prospect to find out that prospect needs. So through discussions, you get to know, you learn a lot more about the needs of this thing. And therefore, if you know that, then you know the product, the emphasis on what? The benefits. You see, because that is what will serve the interests of the customer. And if it is problem solving, questions, interaction, talk to the two, engage the prospect in this. So, what are the objectives of the statement that you make? What are the objectives of the demonstration in the approach techniques? You are gaining the attention. If you are making the statement, do you see? You are trying to gain their attention. And even if it is need satisfaction, asking questions, getting the prospect to talk means that you are trying to what? Gain their attention, generate interest, and then move on into what? The transition to what? To close. So important. So we have this. The situation, phase determine the approach. The situation that you face determines the approach, you see. Now, influences the approach to use include what? The type of product sold will determine the method to be used in the presentation. Note that there are some products that are so technical. Do you see? If they are so technical, do you see? Then you might go now to what? Here. Here. Do you see? You are going to use questions. It's technical. You have to know the product because the product appears to be complex. If the product appears to be complex, it will determine the kind of method that you are going to use in your presentation. 2, whether the call is a repeat call. You see, if you have met, if you have talked to the prospect before, then you can decide which method to use. 2, if you understand the needs of the customer. Do you see? The amount of time available for the presentation. Do you see? And the awareness of a problem, if there's a problem. Now, this helps you to do what? Enough adequate preparations towards the presentation. You see, the approach leads quickly into the sales presentation. You have met the prospect. Introduce yourself, build rapport, build a relationship with the prospect. Then what do? You are going to do the presentation. Now, in the presentation, here, using the question approach techniques, the question techniques will help you to find out, do you see, the needs of the customer. Asking questions. Number 2, what will fulfill the needs of the customer? Or if you are solving some problems, have prospects to tell you about it. Ask questions. Through discussions, you can discover exactly what to talk about. Do you see? Have prospects to tell you about needs, problems, and then the intention to do something about the problems, if it is a problem solved. You see, so you see that question prepares the ground for you to know exactly the approach to do the presentation. You see? Here, the statements. We are looking at what? The introductory stage. This is where you are going to enter. Complementary. Now, you talk. Referral. Do you see? Oh, such and such and such a person or company this. You see? Try. And then use names of companies or people who actually did the referral. If you are doing this, you see that a prospect will be listening. paying attention. You see, all the time, do you see, the product you have to state, put your product above the competition. So important. And if it is the demonstrations, you are going to have this physical product available for the prospect to handle. Showmanship. Be enthusiastic. Questions should center on what? The benefit. It will prepare the customer to be so curious. Ask questions. The questions solicit from the customer, to come out, express the customer self. You see, there's been multiple, questions. If you have this, to do, you see that you are going to be successful. Let us stop on this and then finish it up on Friday. Unless otherwise you have questions. But don't forget about 158 to 160 about dressing. Don't forget. We skipped it. We shouldn't. I don't know what actually prompted that. But go back and read that dressing, professional dressing. You could go casual, but what? Professional. You are professional, the dressing professional, but casual. Casual here. You are not wearing bow tie or necktie, but you have to be sure that the shirt that you have in there looks nice. And then you have the jacket, over it. Try to learn this and match your clothes. I'm sorry, our students are not here. The students think that it's only taking the test and making 100. The grade is important, but it's not true. Classroom set, tips, help. So let's drop this here and then